Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Glenn McGowan. This is Atlas Bell, and today we're going to be talking about the C4 Corvette. Now, is the C4 Corvette really the worst Corvette ever made? People love to bring that to my attention, and if you're in the Corvette world or the sports car world, people kind of like frown upon the C4 Corvette. Now, they get a lot of hate, but in my honest opinion, I think it's a great car. I've had several of them. I recently, over the last couple of years, bought and started building this car behind me, which we're going to go over in detail. We're also going to talk about the pros of it, the cons of it, and the year range and the options and all that little stuff. So I'm not trying to persuade you to say that this is the best Corvette ever made, but you're missing out on a great opportunity for a very inexpensive hot rod. This week's video is brought to you by AtlasBone.com. Shop our site for Corvette performance parts, merchandise, and much more. See the link in the description or visit AtlasBone.com. So as much hate as these things get, you gotta look at it like this. Where else can you get a V8, rear-wheel drive, sports car, independent suspension with possibly a stick shift in it for a couple $1,000s? Now, there's so many of these out there that are automatic with over 100,000 miles just sitting in people's garages that you can pick up for cheap and build essentially anything you want for not a lot of money for a cheap donor car. So LS swap, build the tune port that's in it, like whatever you want to do, like sky is the limit. So granted, yeah, they made 100 horsepower in 1984, but now it can make 600 horsepower and daily drive it with an LS in it. So that's why this car is so popular right now, because it is an inexpensive entry-level Corvette that you can get and build. So a lot of younger guys are getting into these things and building them however they want and doing engine swaps and stuff like that. Because this car was around for 13 years, there's a lot of them. Love them or hate them, they're there. You really can't get away from them. So why not do what a real car enthusiast would do and build it the way you want to do it? So I'll just go over the year ranges real quick and the little differences here and there just to give you a better idea what to look for. So 1984 they came out all the way up to 1996. So 84 to 90 essentially looked like that, which is an 85. And then from 1991, the rear bumper changed, the front bumper changed a little bit. The molding around the side of the car is painted, the door handles are painted, so it looks a lot more modern than this like 1980s theme going on here. So that's kind of essentially what you're looking for. There were some interior changes from this to the newer one. Like this one doesn't have airbags and it's very flat, where the later ones have more of a cockpit style design. Your engines are like this. So 1984, the only crossfire fuel injected engine in the C4 Corvette is a carryover from 1982's C3 Corvette with the first year for the crossfire. 85 tune port all the way up to 1991, and then 1992 was the LT1, and then they had an LT4, which was in the collector edition in Grand Sport, and then the 01 engine, which is an LT5. So they're the engines you're going to get. Now, as far as transmissions are concerned, automatics, 700 R4s, 4L60s, and then you had two stick shift options, Doug Nash 4+3, and then the ZF 6-speed, black tag and then blue tag. This car was a 4+3 converted to a blue tag 6-speed, so those things can swap right over. Videos on that as well. So essentially, that's kind of what you're looking for those. But what most of the ones you're going to run into, like I said, are automatic ones. There's a ton of automatics. There's more automatics than stick shifts probably. I don't know the numbers, but I'm assuming from what I've seen out there, there's a lot of automatics, but there's nothing wrong with them at all. So they're 700 R4, 4L60, great transmissions as well. So they're kind of what you're gonna get when you're looking into the C4 Corvette. Okay, so here are a couple cons. So let's be honest, it's not a perfect car by any means. Great platform, but there's still a bunch of things that I personally don't like. The one thing that comes to my mind always with the C4 Corvette is the minute you take that targa roof off the car, the whole feel of it changes. You can feel it flexing a lot more. Granted, they do make frame stiffening bars and stuff like that to get rid of that, which I have on my car, so not the end of the world, but if you have one and you don't have that done, you're either used to it or like it doesn't bother you. But for me personally, feeling that flex, not a big fan of. I guess originally it was supposed to have a T-top style roof on it, and then last minute they just decided to go with the targa roof and not correct that. So I guess that's kind of what you're dealing with for those runs of C4s. Other than that, I would say price point for parts. So like I said, the Corvette name on the parts drives the price up, and interior stuff, all that. And I know for like antique or classic cars, like, you know, certain parts are more expensive, but I really feel like it's kind of pushing younger generations away from building the cars because their prices are just really expensive for like factory GM stuff. Now, the aftermarket stuff is better than it was, but I really feel like, you know, you can only get OEM original, even like used broken interior pieces are expensive, where I'm like, you know, you kind of push a lot of people away when you're trying to build an affordable sports car and the prices are through the roof. So the other thing I would say is just the performance of the car. So it just kind of comes with the territory being an 80s car, is that you're gonna have lower horsepower car. In today's standards, you know, if you're driving anything newer, it's way faster than these were in the 80s, but you can do anything you want to it. But right out of the gate, if you get like an original one, like, yeah, you're not gonna be like blowing the doors off of anything probably ever, but you can do whatever you want to it to make it a lot faster. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you the car that I built over the last couple of years. So if any of you are new to the channel, this is an 85. I've been building it for the last 4 years. It started its life as a 4+3 car, ran and drove fine, 68,000 miles. It just has seen better days. Here's a picture. So it essentially needed everything. Like, I drove it back from like 20 minutes from here. The guy was gonna work on it, but he was older and it needed a bunch of work. It popped out of second gear, but ran strong. There was no like rust or collision damage or anything like that. All the things that line up for buying a nice car, but it just needed love. So I wanted to do this more of like a purpose build. I originally had it on coilovers, and then it just kind of like wasn't the best to drive around the area. I live in Pennsylvania, so certain roads and stuff like that, I just couldn't drive the thing. So I did the next best thing and I bagged it, which I have a whole series on the channel about doing the air ride. It's all custom handmade stuff. So now I can drive it and then sit it like this, so it looks really low, and you can drive it like this. A lot of people think that I drive it around like that, but I just park it like that and I drive around like a normal one, because that's kind of the thing. When you get a little older, you want a little more comfort in your life. So that's the story with that. I repainted it about a year ago, did a whole series on that as well, and it looks pretty good. It's not perfect by any means, but it looks pretty good. Did a couple things to the interior and stuff like that, but we'll do a quick walk over the whole car so you can take a look at it. Okay, start from the front, nice and shiny. So those wheels are for BMW. The company's Alzor. They're 18 by 9.5 square stands all the way around, 5x120, 35 millimeter. Everybody asks me that like at least once a day, so I just try to throw it in the videos when I can. Hankook tires with the Hankook permanent lettering on there. Tuck in nicely. It actually sits up higher because I have my frame bars on my headers, keeping it from going as low as it can, because technically you can't even shut the hood with it lowered down like that. There is my air ride system in the back. Airlift performance, 3/8 lines, dual compressors, all that good stuff. Dual exhaust, which I made. Do a peek on the inside here. I did the seats originally. I didn't do any videos on that before I started the channel, but new steering wheel, a new shift knob. I still have the 4+3 in there to fool people. That's really a 6-speed. And dash is in pretty decent shape. There's like a crack in the corner, but it'll probably stay like that for a while. Under the hood, relatively just the factory. It's very dirty. I still have not detailed since I painted it, so don't judge me. So smog pump delete. Headers, long tubes with custom dual exhaust all the way back. Rebuilt upper control arms, and you can kind of see my air suspension set up. It's got 18-way QA1 adjustable shocks on all 4 corners, so it actually handles really, really good. As much as people think air ride cars don't handle, this handles probably better than it did from the factory. So that's it for there. So that's what I do with mine. So like I said, it was purpose built. I'm happy with the way it turned out. I love the way it looks and the way it sits. So the same thing, if you're into these cars, build it however you want. They're an awesome platform, like I said. Yeah, is it the best Corvette ever made? No, but there's plenty of them, and it's a perfect platform to build whatever you want. So if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Thanks for watching.